Hello, everybody. My name is Karel Alvarado. I'm project manager for society at the British Council in Mexico, and it is a true honor and pleasure to be here with you today in Global Voices. So, I would like to talk to you about youth and violence in Mexico and how we have developed a program to respond to this called Building Movements Tackling Violence. So before we get into that, I think it's important to go back to the basics. And the basics is, what is the reason that we have a society area? So as you're well aware, we would like to contribute to a more equal, prosperous, inclusive, and peaceful world and society in general, where people have the opportunities to expand their horizons and create sustainable futures. So we believe in the power of people to actually create change and drive positive impact to their communities. And we achieve that through a series of programs that are in our portfolio. And with that, we respond to many of the priority areas the British Council has developed. Particularly, the project that we're talking about today, Building Movements, responds to two of those priority areas. The first one is about we want to help young people have the skills, resilience, and networks to find pathways to better lives. And of course, to do that, we need to create an environment where young people are safe and secure, and they actually have this opportunity to learn and develop their skills. And the second one is about how we would like to strengthen civil society so that there is a wider social inclusion and participation. We truly believe that social inclusion only happens when all sectors and all areas of society are listened to, but also work alongside each other to drive any changes to their communities. So, as I said, the program that we will be discussing today is called Building Movements Tackling Violence. This program was implemented for the first time by our colleagues in Brazil as a regional program that aimed to understand the causes of violence in Latin America. And they did that through a series of activities and programs over a 2-year period of time. They brought together people from Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, and the United Kingdom. We have taken on the work that they developed and we have tailored it to respond to the context of Mexico. So we are truly convinced that any program that we implement has to respond to the context in which we are trying to make it work. So what is that context? The first thing is Mexico has a population of 111 million people, roughly. Out of those, 37.5 are people between the ages of 18 and 29. So we should be working with young people because they are a major representation of our population. But not only that, we should be working around the violence that affects young people because out of those 37.5 million, 28, so more than half, have been denied a service or an opportunity that has led them to not be able to fully participate in society. This is a truly alarming number, and it only gets worse as we continue to explore the situation of violence in Mexico. So 47% of young people in Mexico believe or feel unsafe in their neighborhoods. So almost 50% of young people in Mexico do not feel they're safe. And that is quite a similar number or a similar percentage to those people that have been victims of violence of any type. It is important to say that these numbers reflect a perception. So because violence and the different violence that affect young people are often misunderstood, this number could actually be significantly higher. And according to the national public security system, 50% of all the people that commit a crime or a felony in Mexico are actually between the ages of 18 and 29. So these statistics truly reflect why it's important for the British Council and society in general to work around the violence that affects and young people in Mexico. So what is the program that we have developed? we would like, or our aim is to contribute to a more coherent understanding of violence or violences, if we're more accurate, that affect young people in Mexico, particularly in urban contexts. And we will do that through generating awareness and engagement with a variety and very diverse stakeholders that will work alongside us to facilitate opportunities for people to develop their capabilities in designing and implementing projects that aim to prevent or reduce violence. And through that, our aim is to actually promote social change. So our program is divided into 3 phases. The first one is awareness and engagement. The second one is capacity building. And the third, which is yet to be implemented, is local action with a global perspective. So the first phase, awareness and engagement, what we did is we held a 3-day conference with over 75 actors across different sectors. So we had people representing academia, the private sector, international organizations, and civil society. And we also included young people that had been affected by violence to actually discuss what the status of violence is. During this conference, we brought people from the United Kingdom, particularly from civil society and the London Community Foundation, so that they could actually share their experiences and see how similar maybe those experiences were between the UK and Mexico. The result of this was the development of our second phase, but particularly there were 5 things that stuck with us and that really shaped the program. The first one was that there are multiple forms and types of violence. So we can't talk about violence, but there is actually violences that affect young people. And these are caused by a variety of factors, which are commonly studied, but also of conducts that people promote and continue to have. The second finding is about the fact that young people continue to face many stigmas that hinder their ability to be agents of their own development. The third one is how, if we want to make any action or project aimed at reducing violence that affects young people, we actually have to involve young people. And we have to do that through, actually giving them a place at the table and listening to them and taking their views into account. The fourth one is about the fact that this dialogue cannot exist just amongst young people or just among adults, but it has to be this communication of different generations so that we have actually more enhanced programs, projects, activities, or ideas that actually are more comprehensive and take into account the different experiences and expertise of all of the different generations. And the fifth one, and it's really important to reinforce that as many times as possible, is that we have to make more spaces for all of the sectors to dialogue, but also to work collaboratively. So we have to stop viewing the different sectors as if they were alone and they only had one job, but I'll actually promote these alliances and promote the cross work that they can do so that the programs truly reflect and are more accurate of the reality that we face. So, as I said, this was built into our second phase called capacity building. And what we have created are spaces for professionalization. So we bring together the actors of all of these sectors and actually build a space for them to talk, exchange ideas, build common knowledge, dialogue with each other, and truly build a community of practice. So what are the characteristics of this professionalization spaces that will actually start in mid-October and will run throughout February, until February? So the first one is that it involves all sectors to ensure there are more comprehensive approaches to the way we view violence in young people. The second one is we're building a community of learning, but also of practice. So everyone that participates must share their expertise, their experience, and the knowledge they have. And the third one is we have actually made a conscious effort to include an international component, particularly with the United Kingdom, so that